It's 2:30 in the morning on a Saturday night, and me and the old man are at the front of the line in a White Castle, ordering us up a sack full of sliders. The place is a mix of late-night stragglers and nobodies. I was only 10 years old back then, but even then I knew enough to know that my old man had no right looking down at the drunken retards of White Castle. These were his people, after all. There were cracked-out college kids over there chowing down on double cheeseburgers, desperate for a few carbs to sober up. Filthy vagrants sit alone, nursing cold coffees in small paper plates with just one measly burger on them, about the size of a $50 and cost about the same. There's only one black guy in the whole place, and I'm ashamed to say I think he's a pimp. Maybe it's because of the floppy brim fedora he's wearing, or the two white gals at party dress he's got his arms draped around. Or maybe it's because a couple weeks back my old man rented us that kid-friendly classic Dolomite, and I've got a whole new stereotype of black people to overcome. Lately I've got stereotypes of everybody. Lately I'm judging everyone. I'm only 10 years old and all I see anymore are ugly, guilty faces. We just come from a midnight showing of the Rocky Horror over at the Music Box, during which my dear old man guzzled a tall boy Michelob that he smuggled in underneath his winter coat. That's not counting the sixer of Old Style that's lying half done in the back seat of the Oldsmobile, or the joint that I'm pretty sure got passed his way by one of the fishnet-wearing dingbats at the show, while I was pretending to be asleep because I fucking hate the goddamn Rocky Horror Picture Show. The old man, he likes to remind me that the flick came out the same year that I came out. As if that should hold some kind of sappy sentiment, but I say screw that noise. Funny Lady with Barbara Streisand came out the same year, we never see that one. We saddle up into one of the stiff-backed booths alongside the front window, and I feel a dry heave come on as I'm met with the mind-numbing stench pouring from this grizzled, unkempt, bearded old dude sitting at the table next to us. He smells like he's been barbecuing raccoons on tinfoil, and I just want to vomit. Dad, can we please move? Come on, guy. That's what my dad says whenever I'm not going to get in my way. Come on, guy. We got us a window seat. Got to make sure no one lays their grubby paws on the olds. I got my eye on you wackos. The denizens of the White Castle, they ignore my old man. They're used to guys like him. They know him. Even though it's the dead of winter, the old man's face is red and weathered, almost feverish. He's got this boozy, goofball grin plastered across his face that tells his whole story. I'm a deadbeat, lousy drunk. You enjoyed the flick? He spits out specks of bread and onion with every word. It was all right. I lie. I'm just annoyed all to hell at this evening. My old man first took me to see the Rocky Horror on the weekend of my 10th birthday. It was my first midnight movie, and I had to fight to keep my wee little eyes open all the way through. Only for the old man to constantly shake me awake. Go on and yell at the screen, it's a real hoop! And sure enough, all the other freaks in the theater, they're whooping and hollering, throwing shit like rice and toilet paper. But I didn't get it. Mostly I just thought it was rude. But at least back then, the old man was sober. But at least back then, Mom would still be at the house when we got home. But those days were ancient history. You ought to tell your Ma thanks for letting me have you when I dropped you back off. Not that I should have to be thankful for taking out my own damn son just because it's her weekend. They should have put that name on my birth certificate, the damn son. And just like that, at the turn of a dime, the old man's drunken grin fades away into this downtrodden frown that I had grown accustomed to seeing on his face for the last several weeks. The booze is wearing off, and I should be grateful, but I'm kind of bummed because a sober pop is a beaten and sorry pop. Sorry is a sad clown in black velvet. The old man's eyes drift toward the window, and I can see that he's starting to reflect again. My father's gaze carries him out past the Oldsmobile in the lot, into the unknown, a million light years through the black night sky, and into the great beyond, leaving his damn son behind in a lonely White Castle back on planet Earth. Ever since Ma scooped up his two precious little ones on New Year's Day and marched out the door, the old man's life just kind of blew up into thousands of pointy shards of reflections. And whenever I see him now, he's always reflecting, constantly reflecting on the good old days, as he likes to call them. The same good old days that I was already trying to forget. The good old days back when we were one big happy family living under the same roof. Back when we'd all wake up together on Sunday mornings to the smell of sizzling bacon and maple syrup in the kitchen. Back when we'd all pile into the car and take summer drives together. Back when my parents would put me and my sister in our jammies with the feet, throw us in the car and take us to a late double feature at the drive-in. Back in the good old days when life was just all peaches and cream and one big fucking joke. But Mom, she put an end to all that noise when she said, "Fuck you, white man, I'm out." And she hightailed her Latina ass right out the piss out of Dodge. Apparently the old man's bender on New Year's Eve, right in front of her entire Puerto Rican familia, was the last straw. I swear to God, you never heard one white man utter the word spick so many times in Humboldt Park. He was like Red Fox and Sam Kinison rolled into one. Impressive almost. That next morning, Ma woke me and Sis up bright and early, rushing my little sister into her overalls, putting me in my corduroys and my sneakers. Gil Man still lying half drunk on the couch, barely alive. I practically had to beg Ma to let me take one leak before we bolted out the door. And while I'm taking that desperate leak, I spot, lying in the bathtub, I spot the rocket set that my grandparents in Florida had given me for Christmas. The rocket set that had been lying under our Christmas tree all the way until the previous day. The rocket set that is now soaking in a bathtub covered in dried pink puke. And all I could think while I'm zipping up my corduroys is, my rocket set? You fucking pissed my rocket set, old man? And I'm standing here in the John staring at this injustice. And Mom grabs me by the arm, rushes me and my little sister through the kitchen to the back door. And as we're leaving, I can hear the old man in the kitchen behind us. I can still hear him, pleading, yelling, begging, "Don't go. Please, don't go." And I turn around, and I see that he's crying. My old man is actually crying. That's fucked up. I've never seen my old man cry before. I've never seen the old man's tears and puke before. And all I can think is, I'm never going to get to set off that goddamn rocket. And you know what? So what if Pop called Uncle Junie a stinking spick? What about my goddamn rocket? And where the fuck are you taking me anyways, lady? That New Year's morning, my parents broke their damn son. And here it is 6 weeks later, and it's almost 3 in the morning. And this lousy 10-year-old kid is sitting with his barely sober father in a white castle.
More.
In a White Castle. More. Thank you. The hell of the rest. My dear old man, he's looking off into space, imagining a family taken away from him. And his damn son imagines a never-launched rocket soaring to the stars. And then the old man, he comes back to Earth, and he says to me, "Your shiner's looking better." "Yeah, it doesn't hurt at all no more," I lie, rubbing my still sore left eye. All banged up from another go-around at school. I keep getting into these scrapes at school, and the fuckers, they always got to go for my left eye. I swore I'd be blind before I saw my 11th birthday. I cross my arms across the tabletop and I rest my chin upon them, scowling into my jacket sleeve. And my old man, he mimics me and lowers his head in that way that reminds me that I still love him so much, no matter how much I want to hate him and everyone else. "Think you can give it a rest of all the fights at school?" he asks. I pause before I answer, choosing my words cautiously. "Think you and Ma will ever get back together again?" "Come on, guy. You know better. It's just you, me, and your little sister now. The 3 Musketeers." "Yeah, but my sister's not here right now, Dad," I whisper like it's a secret. "It's just you and me." "Yeah, I know," the old man says, reaches a hand out and spreads his fingers across my scalp, roughly in my hair. "And tomorrow morning you'll be gone, and it'll just be me." His hand hangs down below my small forehead, and he runs his thumb around the outer edges of my bruised eye. In his hand it smells of smoke and beer, but I don't mind. It feels good, and I close my eyes. I'm slipping away. I'm tired. Tired of being angry. Just tired, period. "You ready to go home?" the old man asks. And his damn son quietly answers, "Yeah," knowing full well they've got no home to go to. "Thanks."